Hi, my name's Harriet and I'm speaking for Life the Basic Manual. I wanted to share with you some experiences of opening my first business at kind of a relatively young age, and how I went about doing it and what resources I needed to do it. So the first thing I felt was really important to have and help me get to where I was a really good support network. Obviously after securing the funds. So once I'd secured the funds, I kind of pulled together every friend and family member I could that were willing to help to be able to get the business open, whether that was DIY, painting, helping using marketing skills, ideas for how a salon should run. So that was all really important. Without that, I don't feel I'd be where I was today. So as soon as I kind of decided this was what I was going to do, I realised there was an awful amount of commitment that was going to have to go into it. Some days I would get to the salon for 6 in the morning and not leave till midnight. I had to be there kind of for every minute and had to put my absolute everything into it. Personally, I don't feel you could keep a business running if you didn't have that kind of commitment to it. So I went from, before that, I worked kind of 30 to 40 hours a week for someone else, and in my evenings were spare. I had that time to kind of do as I please, go out with my friends if I wanted to, go out for meals, whereas this was a complete life change. I had to realise that if this was what I wanted, if I wanted to set myself up for the future, those things just weren't doable anymore. So I had to kind of come to the conclusion that I either changed my life now to better my future, or I carried on plodding along doing what I was doing. And I realised obviously the best thing was to plan now for the future. So there was a lot of commitment involved into getting the business open. I went from working kind of 30 to 40 hours for someone else to then working for myself, and realising that you could either work 30 to 40 hours for someone else, or you could work 80 plus hours for yourself, whichever you preferred. But for me, it was a no-brainer. Taking this step now meant I was setting myself up for the rest of my life. So I went from having kind of my evenings and my free time to go out with my friends, to go out for meals, to not having that anymore. And that is something, that was a choice that I had to make if I wanted to set myself up for the future. Some days when I was setting the business up, I'd come into work for 6 in the morning and I wouldn't leave till kind of midnight or so, but that was just something I had to do. And to be honest, I loved that, because I could see my whole empire kind of growing in front of me every hour that I put in there, every time something came together. And it was really good to see. But I think that is a really important point to make. If you're not ready and you're not willing to change your life, then business isn't going to be something that's for you. So before I got to the position where I was able to open my salon, my business, I'd been in the hairdressing industry for maybe 7 or 8 years prior to that. So I worked for one salon since I was at school. I trained with them and I spent a good few years there. The years that I was there were brilliant. The training was really good, really beneficial, and it was great to work in that kind of environment that set me up for the future. Kind of as you get a little bit older and get a little bit wiser, you see what that business kind of does really well, and then you see what kind of things you change about it if it was yours. And I suppose that kind of inspires you to then go on and do your own thing, because although the business I work for is great, they're really successful, I just had a vision of how I do things differently, and I think that kind of inspired me to go off and do my own thing. Without kind of that training, again, I wouldn't be where I am today. To work in such a good environment has helped me to be able to open this salon as well, and to help it be successful. So also knowledge is key, training is key. There's a saying that goes, if you decide you don't need any more training, you might as well give up, and I think that is so true. This kind of industry especially, everything's changing, fashions, trends are changing all the time. We on-go with training constantly in the salon. We have sessions booked out, and we do a lot of ongoing training. I also train the girls myself here, and we bring someone in external. It's great that they can learn from me, but it's also great that they can learn from other people and have different people's styles to kind of create and build them as people. So they take kind of a bit of my knowledge and a bit of other people's knowledge, and that develops their style. And it's really nice to see them kind of come from not necessarily low education, but from being kind of a standard stylist, and help them develop and grow into something amazing, a stylist that can give that client just that little bit more than what they maybe could have done before. So I suppose the question is, why is hair and the hair industry, why is it so important? Why is it so important to me, and why is it so important to kind of all our clients? The biggest thing for me is how your hair looks. It completely makes up kind of how you feel. If your hair's kind of unwashed and looking really drab, it makes you feel drab. If it's all done really fresh and nice, and you like the way your hair looks, I definitely think it brings out the confidence in you as a person. So what we try to do in the salon is we really try to get to know what people's wants and needs are. It's very easy for people to kind of say they want something when actually it's not really what they want. So we use kind of pictures and visuals to really get to the bottom of what they want, so that we can bring out the best in them and bring out the confidence in them. It's so nice to see someone come in kind of not really feeling themselves and leaving like a different person because of just the way the hair looks. So that's something that I have a lot of passion for, and I like to see that change in people. It makes me feel good about myself.